Okay, let's call this meeting the Haysville Planning Commission to order. First item of business is the roll call.
Azir,
Present.
Franken,
Here.
Williams, Coleman,
Here.
Atkins,
Here.
Plummer,
Here.
Blood.
Here.
Next item of business is the presentation and approval of minutes of May 26, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
A second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Next item of business is the election of officers. Are there any nominations?
I'd make a nomination for Tim Azier to remain chair.
Do you want to do them all at once, or do you want to do them separately?
I think
guess
we can
if there's any other nominations for chair, we can hash that one out first.
I think we can do them all at once,
Okay,
as long as it's stated.
then I would nominate Debbie Coleman for vice chair. And Jonathan Tardif as secretary.
Yep.
I second.
Both of ours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other discussion? Then I would entertain a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Under new business, we have the review of bylaws.
So these are just our yearly review of these with the time change. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Jonathan also changed some of the references on numbers.
So just as a discussion point, is 6 o'clock gonna work for everybody? We kind of left it open, and it seems like it's easier for staff and maybe a little easier for us as well. So if it, for whatever reason, doesn't work, just let us know. But this is, I think, where we'd like to go in the future, so.
As long as I remember it.
Yeah, and me too. I'm pretty ingrained that this meeting starts at 7 o'clock, so.
Okay, we can start sending a reminder out for
Well,
like 3
I
o'clock in
think
the
just
afternoon.
That'd be
the
great.
reminder in what you send, I would
Okay.
keep doing that for a while, because if we skip a couple meetings, I'm gonna show up at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
No problem.
and the rest of this is just breaking it down into separate sections, moving it around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any other discussion?
I make a motion to approve the bylaws with the proposed changes.
I'll second that.
A motion section to approve the changes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item of business is a review of the land use map. You want to quickly cover what the land use map is and what the land use map is not?
The land use map is the idea of what direction the city is going. It doesn't necessarily show what is current, but we can update it to show what is current, like what we have on the GIS public map that we have online.
So it's not existing zoning, it's a planning document for the future development of Haysville.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are things in here that we probably all notice that are different than what our existing knowledge of the property is. The discussion needs to be about what direction we as a group feel we'd like for this individual areas or properties to develop in the best interest of Haysville. So the reason that's important is if somebody brings us a zone change and it coincides with our land use map, that's an easier decision. We've already thought, hey, let's make this corner go commercial or whatever that looks like. So specifically along Meridian, where we have some undeveloped ground that is more than likely the direction of development that the Haysville will grow, we need to have a plan for how we think that should develop. So that'll help staff when somebody comes in and says, hey, I wanna buy this piece of ground and put a Quick Trip here. Well, if we've got that identified as a corner where it's red for commercial, that's an easier decision. So, I guess, do you wanna just have some discussion here tonight? Or do you want us to come back with any changes we think we might have?
So as this is just discussion tonight, we'll have to set the public hearing, which will be August 25th.
For August 25th.
So some of the properties that are along Meridian, south of Casey's, that are residential here probably need to be changed. We've identified some of this, and this is old enough that it doesn't exactly track with what I remember from the Meridian corridor study. So that proposed school property on the east side of Meridian instead of the west side, if that's what we want to do, if that's what the district wants to do, that's fine, but I think that study had it on the other side of the street for a few traffic reasons.
And I haven't, with the Meridian corridor study, I didn't pay attention to where it was in that one. I knew that, I
I
wasn't
only
sure.
know because I did it, but.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that is one consideration that I don't know what direction, where it's gonna go. Obviously, the school district is growing. I just don't know what direction, where they're gonna go with their next growth, so that
And
would
if
be.
they're willing to share that with us, we can incorporate it here, but if not, we're just gonna have to guess.
With that property also, it's recently sold at auction
Mhm.
and has new owners, so that could change that as well.
Yeah, and this isn't necessarily the end of the discussion, even when we make this decision. It's just a planning document, so we have an idea of where and how we're gonna grow. So,
Which property are you talking about?
so this
If-
Meridian,
If you look up on the
the
TV.
whole red property that's across the
Okay,
street
the
from the
old
Curtis
property.
property.
Yeah,
So Debbie, right here on the TV, I have it pulled up for you.
okay. So that's 79th Street,
Yes,
okay,
and that's south of 79th.
okay.
So the map, the printed one you have in front of you is the old boundaries. We updated the boundaries in 2020. We didn't have the capability to get all the land use map with staff in the computer yet. We finally have gotten that updated with the new boundaries, but we never reviewed the land use.
I had a question about the zone map that I brought with me.
Okay.
The River Forest Edition is not one of the, it's a different color green than all of the other indicators. And I don't know if that was done on purpose, but in the ArcGIS version it is.
So River Forest.
I mean, I think that should be single family, but
You're talking about right next to the railroad?
all the way down south, oh, am I getting it mixed up? Sorry, no, not River Forest, the one
Timber
south.
Creek?
Timber Creek, yes, sorry.
Oh, okay, I was like, huh? Oh,
Oh,
That is that color because of the vacation of easement that we had in the south side of the property.
so when you click on it, there's an attached document. So, yeah, and when we have our layers, it makes it look just a little bit shaded differently, the protective overlays. So that one's got a vacation attached to it because of the south area. We vacated that utility easement on the south side.
Okay.
So it's got a documented,
It's yellow with a blue overlay,
yeah.
okay, well, that explains it.
Yeah, so any of them, I can show you, there's one over here. And no, it won't do it, but usually one over there on Broadway does the same thing, I've noticed, so. But,
Okay. Any other discussion? Anybody see any odd properties we should talk about?
couple of things I wanna point out, that one thing, so, this property right here is city-owned property. On your map prior, it was green for, it was future park use. When the soccer fields used to be on school grounds, originally, we had planned on moving the soccer fields down there. With the development of Dorner Park, that whole soccer fields and everything went that direction. And now with D21 being looked at here in the next 2 years, we're looking at that for residential.
Sorry,
what?
D21's been happening for a decade, so
I know.
trying to put a timeline on it is,
But it makes more sense since we're growing that way to look at that as residential, so that is one that we're looking at changing that one to yellow. I know, that is a timeline.
What's your question?
I don't know what that is.
What?
D21.
It's a county and city partnership for a drainage project.
Okay.
Yeah,
For
I was
drainage.
actually have questions about that. If you're gonna develop that, is there gonna be more drainage issues that arise because of it? Because you're already pumping all that water down to my neighborhood, and we flood as is.
So actually, the drainage issues are more over in here. Tim, you might be able to correct me on this.
I don't want to even pretend to be an expert on drainage. I have other people that do that for a reason.
Okay, so with the D21, it works in this area right over here, and it's supposed to, I don't know the answer to that but there will be ponds and everything in that development because it will have to allow for retention and everything, so.
But will they be preemptively drained every time we have rain expected, and then as rain is coming down, continue to be drained
I
at
think
the bubbler on?
The
that
whole,
would
the whole
be
point is to
Meridian.
divert it around your subdivision instead of through it. So,
Yeah, that's
My
more on the
subdivision is
county.
at 95th and Meridian.
It's a county plan. I think they have more information on it. I don't know all the logistics of where the water's gonna go to and everything like that. Like I said, Tim said, it's been on the books for over 20 years. It's finally, I'll believe it when I see it, but it's
Yeah.
finally supposed to happen, so.
Well, in O24, there's a little tiny itty bitty blue speck there, and that's a cemetery that's been vacated a long time ago. Right next to that is an orange square. In that orange square is a pond, and that is where the water goes. Somebody recently purchased it and expanded the pond, and when you guys pump that water down there, it still overflows that pond, and then our ditches have nowhere to go except for into our yards, so.
The drainage is the part of the county issue, so it's kind of a separate matter. I understand your frustration and everything, but this is looking at, 10, 20 years plus here of what's gonna be developed over here. We have growth going to the west side, so it was originally supposed to be parkland. It makes more sense for it to be residential, so. So that is one piece that we looked at. Dorner Park, obviously, right here, it was previously blue. We changed that to green with it being a park now. Along Grand, the property we recently approved with the rear being duplexes, changed that to single-family residential. I forgot one out here. Country Lakes has a park going in. We'll change that one to green. I did miss that one. We noticed that today. And then lastly, over on hydraulic, one thing we are suggesting is this corner lot right here. It was previously red for light commercial. That property's been looked at for more than once for light commercial. The cost of running sanitary sewer for lot is not feasible. So we want to look at changing that to being residential. The lower lots could stay red just because if that was a large development or something like that, they could probably handle the cost. But for the size of the lot that one is right now, it just doesn't make sense. So
okay.
that's the suggestions we had.
There is one thing up there, 63rd Broadway. It's not my property, but that great big green free section, that's, and I forget their name now, it used to be the Tucker Quarter.
Okay.
It's 80 acres of privately owned with the duplexes on it. It's not a park or open space.
This one right here?
Yep.
Huh. Okay. How's that? Anybody have anything else right off hand?
Mine's labeled as public, semi-public, is that what you're talking about with schools, or,
Yeah, the blue.
okay. What else would that entail, just like, city public works property type stuff, or?
Yeah, so just above Dorner Park right there, that's blue because it's a public works building and part of the yard. City Hall on Grand right there should be blue.
So if you look on your the paper one, you'll see the legend. It's not, I don't see it here on there, but you'll see public, semi-private, there's a legend for those. That's where Tim was saying it doesn't match the exact where our zoning map has the categories. These are more in general, this lot, large lots, areas, so.
So that's the next logical question. Should we update this to the same zoning districts that we have instead of leaving them in what they are? Is it more beneficial to have it in a general residential category instead of lining it out?
I think the general category, because this is future, and I mean, this doesn't set it in stone. I mean,
I
obviously.
agree, I just wanna have the discussion.
Yeah, it can go lower density pretty easily if you have something marked light commercial going to lower density. It's not higher density is where it kind of becomes an issue and what we have set out in our land use map and what we want to see there. So I wouldn't say we'd look at this too much. I did mention to you guys I'm working on having the comp plan looked outside. And so this could be coming back up again. So I don't want to do too much extensive change to this. And I was really trying to get it in front of everybody, get it out there because we haven't reviewed it in such a long time.
Yeah.
I want to get,
Last time I remember it, Bob and I think we had a full like work session to go over individual properties and get this as dialed in as we could, but that's probably been 5-10 years maybe. We'd have to go back and look at minutes, but
I'm trying to think what that would have been with. It's probably longer than 5 years.
probably.
So one thing, yes, the Meridian Corridor Study, the uses along there. I looked at that the other night. It is still pretty close. I don't know if there's anything we want to look at changing, so. Several, like I said, there is several things coming up. The zone changes and everything are, 2 of them are over along Meridian.
Okay. Does that cover that item pretty well?
Would it be possible to put just a few indicators like 71st Street, 79th Street, Seneca Broadway, and Meridian?
I think they're on there. They're just scaled out so far that
Mhm.
you can't read them.
Oh, I can't read them.
Yeah.
Are you talking about on the paper one or this one?
Well, either, but I was
Just-
So
talking
they're
the
on
paper. Okay, I was talking the
this one.
paper.
So this is actually the old one. I don't even have this one in a digital copy anymore. This is only
Okay.
PDF. It's one of the documents that was lost. So,
Future paper?
yeah, I can see what Cody can do with this, because this is
Okay.
what we'll be
We're in the
looking at.
process of updating that into the GIS system, right? That's what.
This is in the GIS. So this is on our public page. It just says under review.
The land use map,
Yeah.
not the zoning map.
The zoning map is on our GIS page too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like the Sedgwick County GIS. I mean, it just, you can pop right on there and zoom in as close as you want.
Sedgwick County has a little bit more information. They have more ownership
Yeah.
and all
But I
those
mean, you
details,
can
but
Definitely see main intersections. and-
yeah, I mean, like
Pull it
this
all
is our, I mean, it comes up right here, has D-Light commercial and has other, the address and everything like that, zoning property. Yeah, that's one thing we wanted to get, it has helped. Always, I haven't gotten one in a while, always got phone calls from realtors of what's this property zone, so.
And that doesn't show up on the Sedgwick County website,
Which one?
the county GIS. Current zoning inside the city of Haysville wouldn't show up on the city, or may not be current.
They show residential. I mean, they show commercial and residential, but this isn't my computer. That's what this is.
It doesn't matter, we can,
It's all on there.
Yeah.
okay.
I think on mobile land records it is.
Yeah.
Is it? I was trying to think. I'm like,
I
yeah.
It just may
have
not
it up
be
right
as
here and it
current as
does.
what we have,
Correct.
But they have all the other detailed tax information, everything on that one.
yeah,
So,
okay. Any other discussion on that item? Any old business? Correspondence? Committee updates? Not even you? Okay. No off-agenda items?
only thing I would mention is we're probably looking at having 2 meetings in August, and there's a good chance we're gonna have 2 meetings in September. So if someone is not gonna be here, please let Jonathan know. So,
Busy.
Yeah. Item 10.
I'd make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, everybody.